Alright, hi Scorpios. This is going to be for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the month of August 2021. Now, I just started recording this. All I did was do my little intro and then draw the first grouping of cards. And then my dog came up the stairs. She's older and huge and very loud. And so I'm just going to start over because it was just the first set of cards. So all I did was basically explain that this is a general reading for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising. It is going to be a love reading, but love can be romantic love, it can be friendship, family, really anything. And because this reading is a general one, energy can be vice versa. So, you know, if I'm picking up energy and I say that it's yours and you feel like it's spot on, but it's for the person you're dealing with, take it that way. You know, however many people watch this, I have to be able to say it in a way where it resonates with the most amount of people. So take whatever makes sense for you, take whatever's helpful for you, and leave the rest. All right. And let me try and get a better, slightly better. I feel like the top of my head is chopped off. Oh, whatever. Okay. So, the only thing that I had done in the last video was I decided to pull a couple of cards, Oracle and Tarot, to see just your general energy, not necessarily love related, just what's going on with you. What's been recent and sort of like recent past energy, current, and just the near future, just all around right now, what's been going on with you. The Oracle cards that I got flow, I got power, patience, pleasure, and purification. So essentially, Scorpios are, and I'm Scorpio moon, okay? So I'm not hating on any Scorpios, but Scorpios tend to have very difficult life lessons taught to them at very young ages, okay? Sorry, but I can tell it's going to be a little heavy. So it does make us much, much stronger if we're able to sort of flow with that energy, if we're able to kind of just go with it. But it is very rare that you find a Scorpio, especially more young Scorpio that hasn't gone through it yet enough times to learn that you kind of need to surrender in order to gain anything from it. You need to, you know, have patience. You need to just let it flow. You need to just let it happen. And that's what gives you your strength, you know. So those are the Oracle cards that I got. And then I wanted to clarify it with just a few tarot cards. So anybody who's watched a few of my readings at this point will know that they're all slightly different formats. I'm just trying a few things out. The way that I read cards for my clients is very, when it's live, when it's on the phone or in person, it's very conversation based. And if it's written or audio, you know, depending on the question they ask me, I tend to ask the same thing in various ways. So if somebody says, hey, my name is Kate, I date Matt, or is this the right person for me? I don't just ask the cards that. I'll say, how does Matt feel about Kate? How does Kate feel about Matt? What's likely to happen between them? What's the current energy between them, etc. So, but I come up with them, you know, on the fly. So every reading is going to be slightly different for now until I find out what sort of works the best for a collective reading. I have done collective readings on my Instagram and things like that before, but YouTube's different. So if you have any opinions on how you would like to get them, the format that you specifically like, please let me know. But anyways, what I've got is, it looks like Scorpios right now are coming out of a period where, with the Sun in reverse and the Star in reverse, these are some cards that, the Sun is a card that represents happiness, joy, but even more importantly, like that childlike, carefree energy of not having, you know, just the strain and the stress that everyday life puts on us, right? In reverse, it's the total opposite. In reverse, it can be sadness, just feeling heavy, feeling like there's a lot. And sometimes it can even represent depression, mental health issues, especially when we've got the star in reverse. Now, a lot of people read the star as hope or faith, and it can be that. But it oftentimes is really just like a guiding point, like a North Star in a way, a set point that where you're trying to go. And in reverse, it's like you don't have that. You're not sure where you're heading. You don't really have a goal in mind. And then with the Ace of Swords in reverse, just no real mental clarity, okay? Yeah, and so it looks like you're coming out of a period of that, all right? And the reason why I say you're coming out of it is because we've got the Knight of Wands, which is like you're getting that passion, that kind of fire under your ass to kind of get going. Then we have the Ten of Wands in reverse, the Death card, the Queen of Swords, and the Nine of Cups. All right, so this is, the Ten of Wands is a card of burden and responsibility. Oftentimes it can be positive. It can be, you know, if you're a boss somewhere, obviously you're going to get this card because you're responsible for a lot of people and a lot of things that, you know, at work. But in reverse, especially next to these cards, I feel like whatever it was that was weighing on you, that was holding you back, that was making you depressed, you're sort of dropping in order to be able to move forward and find something new. If you hear any weird sounds, I apologize in advance. The pets are going insane. There's been thunderstorms all day, so I'm sorry. But, so, the Death card here represents change. It is the card of Scorpio, really, you know, accepting these changes and, you know, surrendering to them fully in order to, you know, sort of rise up and start something new. And you're getting the Nine of Cups, which is fulfillment, contentment. You're able to be fulfilled on your own. You don't need anybody else. And the Queen of Swords is, you know, she's essentially just the bad bitch of the tarot. She's independent. She's gonna tell you what she thinks. She doesn't care if it hurts your feelings. She doesn't want to hurt your feelings. So if it does, it's not her problem, you know. Yeah, and so it seems to me like you guys are coming out of a period of, you know, some real darkness, some issues, some heaviness, possibly brought on by a person. For some of you, it's definitely brought on from a relationship or a breakup. But either way, you guys have been sort of stuck in this for a while, and you're going to be slowly coming out of it. You probably already have started, and you're going to continue to do so throughout August. All right, so now do I want to do debating on if I should do a relationship spread and then a single spread, or if I should just do two separate spreads for two different scenarios. Alright, I'm just going to do two different spreads, I think. 2 or 3, we'll see how many I'm going for. Alright, so I'll try and put timestamps below, and, you know, you can just go to whichever one you're drawn to, or see, you know, watch them all and see if any of them resonate, okay? But I like doing a few different spreads at times that are just kind of open. You know, I can end up getting information that's for somebody in a relationship, and also for somebody who's single, and also for somebody who's in a situationship of 4 people, who knows. But this way it leaves it open to 3 different messages, whatever, you know, you guys need to hear the most. Alright, so let's see. For the first group of Scorpios, what is the energy between the Scorpio and the person they're dealing with? Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising for August 2021. What is the energy between Scorpio and the person they are dealing with? Well, alright, so this is like, hold on, before I start to speak on that, I'm gonna clarify with another deck. I'm using my smaller cards just I can put more on the table easier. Before I start speaking on that, I need to see the person that this Scorpio is dealing with. How does this person feel towards Scorpio? What are their intentions? Yeah, that's what I thought. Wow. Alright, you know what's interesting is when you use two different decks and you get the same cards. Or you get some of the same cards and the other half of the cards that came out mean pretty much the same thing as the others. So I got the Two of Pentacles in both decks, one upright, one reversed. Alright, so the reason why I was hesitant here is I've got the Chariot. I also have the Nine of Wands here. Okay, and that's telling me, and the Magician, that's telling me that whoever you're dealing with, this relationship is just, it's moving forward, it's moving quick, or this person is moving quick, okay? It's sort of leaving you to juggle. I feel like there's some uncertainty within you if you actually want to do this, okay? I feel like you're sort of hanging in there because, I hate to say it, because of a little bit of a scarcity mindset, okay? You may be afraid of losing this person and never getting them back. You may be afraid of, if this person isn't the one, maybe you'll never find the one, something along those lines. But here's the issue, is that there is definitely some dishonesty going on here, okay? We've got the Seven of Swords here. You have the Five of Swords reversed, all right? And now normally when the Magician comes out upright, it doesn't indicate this, but in reverse it does. And that is that, this person may be a bit of a manipulator, okay? So like I said, normally if it comes out in reverse, I would say this, not upright, but I'm going to read it as I feel it's supposed to be, especially because I have so many other cards that indicate deceit. This person is definitely being dishonest with you. They're definitely also emotionally closed off to you. Now this card could mean that you've been feeling like you guys don't have much of an emotional connection, or you just have lost it over time. But I really also feel like this person is just not open to you. They may be afraid of commitment. They may just not be the type to want to let somebody in fully. Even if they want to commit, they may be afraid to be vulnerable. And especially because I've got the Two of Pentacles 2 times, there's definitely some juggling going on here. Let me see, what is this juggling? Is another person? Does it work? What is it? Ooh. All right, so here's what you're juggling. You're the one that's struggling, and you're torn basically. I've got the Six of Cups here in reverse. I've also got the Queen of Swords and the High Priestess. Okay, so you know earlier the Queen of Swords came out, which is kind of who you're turning into, and you're juggling. You're kind of torn because half of you is feeling nostalgic about this connection. Half of you feels, you know, you remember the good times. You have these memories. This may be, so this card could just indicate, like I said, nostalgia, memories, thinking a lot about the past, and basically being in a relationship with the past version of this person, not so much the current person. It could also mean that this is somebody you've been with for a very long time, or you've dated them, you know, since high school, or you knew them as a child, or something like that. And you're torn between the memories of this person and then listening to your own intuition that's telling you that this isn't right, and also being the independent person that you're meant to become, okay? And you're torn. You're trying to juggle these two things. You're trying to juggle, like, holding on to this relationship that is probably involving some sort of lying and deceit that is just not what's best for you. You're trying to juggle that with being this independent, intuitive person, and they're not, it's not possible to mix them. It's also made worse by the fact that this person, 2 cups in reverse in the Tower. This person either doesn't feel a connection to you and is holding on for the same reasons, or they really kind of want it to end and they're holding back for some reason. Why is this person holding back? I'm curious. Why is this person holding back from leaving Scorpio? Why is this person staying in Scorpio? That's okay. So I've got the Devil card. Now the Devil card can mean a lot of things. It can mean addiction, it can be codependency, it can be sex, it can be money, it can be mental illness, whatever. The Devil card, I mean, it can also mean Capricorn. It really depends where it comes out and what you were asking, but it came out with the 5 of... Alright, sorry about that. I had a dog emergency. Like I said, the storm set my dog off. She's about 70 pounds. She's a Shar-Pei Mastiff pit mix, and she is absolutely terrified of thunder, fireworks, cars backfiring, anything. And I had to go and rescue her for a minute. Alright. So here's where I was at. The Devil with the 5 of Pentacles is one of the main reasons why this person is staying with you. Why they don't want to cut the cord. On very surface level, that looks like money. It looks like somebody who, either because they actually need your money to pay their bills, they wouldn't be able to support themselves on their own, or it's because they just, your combined finances makes them look better. It just makes it easier. Even if they could support themselves, it's easier this way. However, the deeper meaning of this card isn't just about having no money. The card represents, there's, in this card, it's a little harder to see in the Morgan Greer, but in the traditional deck, in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, you can see there's basically a church, and you can see in the window there's a light on. You can assume there's people in there, that it's warm, there's a sense of community. And then there's 2 people outside of the church, and they're trudging along in the snow. It's dark, it's cold, they're injured, they're dressed in rags. So it's sort of like, it's not just about not having enough money, it's also about feeling ostracized, put out in the cold. They could be worried about how people would look at them. They could be worried about, maybe something about you brought them more social status. Excuse me. So something along those lines. All right. It could literally just be as simple as you're attractive and they didn't want to leave you because they can't find anybody more attractive. Who knows? But it's something like that. Jeez, I need a drink. I've been catching up on a lot of readings from Etsy recently, and I'm starting to lose my voice. Alright, so any advice for you about this person? Advice for these Scorpios. Advice for the Scorpios in this relationship. Could any more cards come out? Alright. Well, I've just got to say, the Queen of Swords keeps coming out, right? It came out in multiple decks. It's who you're supposed to be. Queen of Swords in reverse came out for your advice card. Alright. You need to embrace the independent, decisive, bad bitch side of the Queen of Swords. If you don't, you turn into the Queen of Swords reversed. And she is how can I say this nicely? She's bitter, she's resentful, she's cold. Not only does she not care if she hurts your feelings, she wants to. You know, she's just like, and it's not a bitch in a fun way. It's just not nice. You don't want to turn into that. Don't let that happen, okay? And advice for you is to not stay with this person, you know? Unfortunately, don't allow fear of not finding somebody as good or better, or of missing out on something. Don't allow that fear to keep you from getting what it is you deserve, you know? You need to find the mental clarity. You need to be able to take some time, step back, and realize that, you know, all cycles come to an end. We've got the world here in reverse. You're fighting the end of a cycle. And it truly does look like it's the end of a cycle. It looks like it's the end of the road. You know, they want to leave you, but they're not for whatever reason. Possibly, you know, a superficial reason. Probably. There's definitely deceit going on, at least from them to you, possibly from you to them as well. And it's just not a healthy situation for anybody right now. Your intuition is telling you that you need to leave, but, you know, you're holding on to memories of the past or the past version of them. And it's just, you know, doesn't seem like it's good for anyone. So the advice here, and I'm just the mediator, okay? Don't kill the messenger, but the advice here is move on from this person, okay? I am going to give you an oracle card or two as well. What does this group of Scorpios need to focus on, embrace for the next month? Of course, I say one card, or I say a card or two, and I get, what, 5, 4, something like that. Okay, this makes sense. So we've got reclaiming your power next to fear, victimization. Well, this card says loss and lack, but then underneath this is fear and victimization. And then we've got power over difficulty and reclaiming your power. So, you know, don't allow yourself to stay in this victimized role. You may be an actual victim. You may have been a victim to somebody cheating on you, lying to you, abusing you, neglecting you, whatever. And I'm not at all blaming you for that. But you don't have to allow that to become who you are. You know, you can kind of, you can take that power back, as cliche as it sounds, you know. We also have earth magic, fearlessness, and removing obstacles. So clearly, be fearless. Get the obstacles out of your way. This person is an obstacle. Very clearly, because at the very beginning of the reading, Scorpios need to work on becoming that Queen of Swords throughout the month. And this person is very obviously the biggest obstacle for this group when it comes to getting what you're supposed to have and being who you're supposed to be. But also with earth magic, that is reconnecting with earth. You may not be feeling super grounded. You may be anxious. You may be having issues with clarity. And, you know, spending some time outside, taking care of your physical body is going to be helping you a lot. Okay. And then we also have Bright Heart Light and River of Blessings, which is open connections and releasing constraints. All right, so this person's the constraint. You know, any insecurities or self-talk or issues you have that allowed you to be in this position for this long, that's a constraint that you need to let go of. All right. And you can't allow that to close you off. Obviously, it's a good idea for you to be on your own for a while, but don't allow this to make you colder. Allow it to make you more open after you've learned what you need to learn. All right. Whew. Crack the back real quick. All right, that was something. I knew Scorpio was going to be a heavier one. So, I'm not sure if I'm going to do 1 or 2 more. All right. I think let's just do 1 more. This, okay. All right, for the next group of Scorpios, what does the next month hold for the next group of Scorpios in general, not just regarding love? Scorpio, Sun, and Rising for August. This is interesting. So we do have solitude here, similar to the past energy, where it's like being in a difficult period of time, spending some time on your own in order to figure things out. But next to that, we've got courage and we've got action next to success. So this may have to do with love, we'll see, but I also feel like there's something else in your life, probably career-wise, some big step that you've been wanting to or meaning to or trying to take that you haven't been able to. Not that you haven't been able to, you haven't gotten up the courage to, you've been procrastinating basically. But it's going to lead to fulfillment once you get this done, so. Alright. That's just in general. Let's see what deck. You know, I don't use this deck all that often because it's very, what even is this called? Tarot del something, maybe? I forget, I've got too many decks, but, so this deck's like very dark-ish. And it's not that I don't like dark decks, it's just, it's not my typical style, but I'm gonna use this guy for right now. Start out with Loud Shutter. What is the current energy between Scorpios and the person that they are dealing with? It's the overall energy between Scorpio and the person they're dealing with throughout August 2021. This is weird because it's a very similar energy to the past reading. So much so that for a second I thought I should just scrap this and start over because I'm just getting repeat reads, which sometimes happens. It's just validation. Spirit's like, hey, listen to this. It's important. But I don't think that's what's happening. I think that this is just, I think it's that these two groups of Scorpios are dealing with very similar situations, but there's a few distinct differences, okay? So, if you see me looking on the back, these are pip cards, so there's no image. And there's no way to tell if it's upright or reverse except for looking on the back where the skull is. So if you see me looking at it, that's why. So the energy between the two of you right now, you're definitely in a state of disharmony, maybe in separation. Some of you may be, but if you're not separated physically, you're at least emotionally out of sync. Something happened here though. It's not like it was slowly drifting or like one of you doesn't feel it. It's like something specifically happened here to cause it. I want to see what that is. Drugs, alcohol may be involved. Drugs, alcohol, or money, really. What happened to cause this issue? Okay. So it looks to me like one or both of you, I feel like both of you at least a little bit, really wants the Ten of Cups. You really want that. whatever your version of, you know, the stereotypical husband, wife, house, dog, kid, white picket fences, you know, it could be 2 chicks and some cats in a van. Like, whatever your version of that is, that's what you wanted with this person, that's what this person wants with you. But there was something along the way, shut off the emotions here between you. I really feel like it's mutual. One of you is definitely way less emotional than the other right now, but I do feel like both of you have sort of shut down a bit. Yeah, and there's definitely some isolation going on here between you. Like I said, you're either separated, or even if you're together, you could be, you know, trying to see each other's little, even if you live together, you know, maybe when you're sleeping on the couch, maybe you're sleeping together, but, you know, you're working more hours at work, so you don't have to spend as much time with them, something like that, or they're doing that to you. But the thing is that there is, with the Star card, and the 8 of Pentacles, and the 9 of Pentacles, it's like, there's hope here. There's hope here between the two of you that you can actually put in the work required to get where you need to be to fix this. And with we've got the 8 of Swords reversed. That's telling me that it's almost like you, now this could be you or the other person. I'm going to say you. You know, you'll know your situation if it makes more sense for them or not. But with this card, it's sort of like, you know that you put yourself in the situation, or that you allowed it to continue, and that it's not that, maybe you didn't cause the issue, okay? Maybe it was the other person, maybe it was completely out of both your hands. But regardless, you know that you were a big part of letting it continue. And you also know that it's up to you to stop it. You may have felt or acted helpless in the past, but you know that you can't continue to keep doing that. How does this person feel towards Scorpio right now? Okay. We got the star, sun. Okay. How does this person feel towards Scorpio right now? So this card, when I was splitting the deck to shuffle, at least 2 or 3 times, this card here came out either on the bottom of the deck or in the middle. That's why sometimes, if I happen to, you know, if the bottom of the deck catches my eye, sometimes I will, you know, pull those cards. Anyway. This person, here's the thing, we've got the star, which we just had a minute ago, so this person definitely has hope that you guys can make things work, although they still feel like, they either feel like the relationship as a whole is a burden to them, or they feel like the burden is on them to fix it. Whether or not that's true, I'm not saying, you know, whatever I'm saying here isn't necessarily the truth, it's how this person feels, all right? However, they have had like a moment of clarity. They may have been uncertain in the past, but they have had clarity that they want to be happy with you. They want to make things work with you. 9 of Pentacles, again, we just had that. Yeah, so they want this to work. They want to establish something with a strong foundation, or reestablish something. Okay, and they want to start trying to slowly come towards you and open up again. All right, they also really want to communicate with you more. All right. Now it could be that this person is still unaware of something, some role that they played. Basically, like, this person still needs to have a little bit of an epiphany. But, so that could be true. But I really think that this person feels that way about you. This person feels like there's something about, you know, you haven't realized something about the relationship, or your part in something, or You know, it doesn't even have to be necessarily something negative or bad about you. It's just that this person wants you to, like, come to some sort of realization about things. I don't know. Alright. Just because... Alright. I'm just switching decks again because... Okay, so... Like I said, sometimes I get drawn to this, so I'm going to take it. This is your advice. Alright. And the Judgment card. Where I just said the person felt like you needed to have a sort of little epiphany or awakening realization. Your advice. Have that. Also, accept the changes that need to happen within the relationship. If worse comes to worse and things can't work out and you need to accept the ending of the relationship, do that. But I really feel like you guys can work on it if you want to. You know, with the Five of Cups in reverse, you may have lost all hope, but in this month you're going to be sort of regaining hope. It's like at some point this looked really bad, like there was no good way, there was no way out, and now you're starting to see a way to fix things. All right, but what's important with the Fool in reverse, you know, you want this guy to be upright, not reversed. So if you decide to try and make it work with this person, you know, you need to go into it wholeheartedly. You can't jump off that cliff. You know, the Fool is usually a guy like a younger guy stepping off a cliff, right? Like all confident, and you can't be stepping off the cliff and terrified of what's going to happen. You know, you have to just go for it. And so if you're going to try and make this work, you have to actually try and make it work. You know, you can't do it halfway. Advice for this group of Scorpios. Wild. Okay. Now the reason I said wild is because this is in the very beginning, just overall messages for Scorpios. We had, you know, you guys are fighting to be the Queen of Swords and also the High Priestess, and you're fighting against the Six of Cups in reverse. So that's like, you know, you need to let go of the past version of you that you no longer are. You need to let go of the past version of the people around you that they no longer are. The way that your life was, the way that your relationships were, you need to let go of that, because that's holding you back from becoming what you're supposed to be. It's also really blocking your intuition. It's also affecting your ability to completely emotionally bond with somebody. Okay, so interesting. Any other advice real quick for the Scorpios? I did just sort of like a card went like this, and I saw the Ten of Cups, which is the card of you basically having a chance to really be happy with this person. You see many cards are coming out right now. Okay. Alright, yep. Don't fight the changes that are meant to happen here. You know, and even if there are some things that are very difficult to hear, difficult to understand about yourself, make sure that you're able to do this in an emotionally mature way, because, you know, there's a chance here that something's going to strike a nerve. You know, we're all sensitive to something, some sort of criticism. You know, and there is a risk here of you sort of getting triggered and going off and just acting super emotionally immature in a way. So just be careful not to do that during conversations. You know, if you need to take a step back, do that. There's nothing wrong with it. You know, but know that things are almost at the point where they couldn't have gotten much worse, or where they were about to end or had to end. And so, you know, the only place to go is up, and it's time for them to go up. All right, you guys can definitely reconnect here. Just make sure that you're actually open to this. Be completely honest. Be willing to carry your half of the burden. you know? Like I said, I'm not saying that you haven't. I'm just saying that, you know, you may need to do it a little bit more. All right. Gonna get a few oracle cards, and then I'm gonna call it a day. I think we're just gonna do 2 instead of 3. Okay. Advice for this group of Scorpios, please. Got becoming something new. That guy just kind of reclaiming your power, releasing constraints, open connections. This is bizarre. These are so many of the same cards as the past Scorpio, and I've shuffled and everything, so apparently it's an all Scorpio thing. You guys are learning very similar lessons, if not the same lesson, just in slightly different relationships. Releasing constraints, opening your connections, reclaiming your power. Now, I talked about all those in the last reading. However, we also have grateful optimism and having joyous views of the future. We've got that alongside wings of light, which is becoming something new. And then we have calming the waters, which is peaceful self-regulation, which is funny that that came out because I was just mentioning with the Page of Cups in reverse, the chance of you sort of having a little bit of a freak out, which we all have them sometimes, especially if we've got Scorpio on our charts. You know, but this is a big time in your life. You are going through a lot of changes, essentially. Whether it's, I think that these cards are talking about your relationship, but also just you in general in your life. So this is all for a purpose, okay? It's going to lead to a lot of positive things in your life, but it's important that you accept these changes and that you are optimistic about what's to come, okay? Don't allow yourself to get into that negative spiral, okay? Make sure that you keep your emotions in check, all right? Take time regularly to think, like, you know, why am I feeling this way? Is this an appropriate feeling? If I don't like the way I'm feeling, what can I do to change it, etc. Okay, and then, yeah, however this turns out in this relationship, just know that it was meant to, because it's turning you into something new. However, love-wise, I do think that this relationship definitely could work out for you guys, but it's going to be some very uncomfortable conversations and taking some ownership of some stuff. All right, so either way, you know, if this resonated for you, if you enjoyed this reading, please let me know. Also, if you have any ideas for readings, you know, and let me know if you prefer me doing something like this where it's just a couple of different spreads and anything can come out, a message for singles or couples. It can be both of either, or if you'd rather have me do a separate video on people that are in relationships and singles. You know, just let me know. If you're interested in a personal reading, you can check out my Etsy, Scorpio Intuition. I'll link it below. And yeah, I hope that you guys have a great month. Thank you.